Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Pacers Daily. I am your host, Hery Acosta. Let's go straight into it. There is a lot to talk about. First things first, Aaron Nesmith is going to be out for at least a month. That's just another big injury blow that the Pacers have to deal with. And this is another one that's going to be 10, 15 games without our best defender, without one of our best three-point shooters, pretty much without one of our stars at the moment. And with players like Matherin still out, Toppin going to be out for a while, and just injury here, injury there, it's just the timing of everything has just been awful. Now, obviously, we can't really blame players for getting hurt. It happens, but our injury luck this year has just been flat out one of the worst I've ever seen. It's not just because we have a lot of players out; it's just because of the talent that we have out. We have pretty much most of our starting lineup has been injured this year. Most of our bench has barely played. And just overall, we're going to have pretty much our whole team that wouldn't be eligible for awards because of how many games everyone has missed. The only players that really would have been eligible at any point would have been Siakam and Nesmith, but now Nesmith's probably going to fall completely out of any eligibility. Siakam's really the only one that's been fully healthy. He's only sat out one game. But it's just been kind of rough being able to watching the Pacers and just seeing everyone struggle, and then just our team just kind of falling apart. But there's always going to be something in the future that's in store, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about it. Now, first and foremost, let me talk about the Raptors game. Not the worst game we played. I mean, 129 to 111 isn't the best score, but we also shot 42% from the field, 37 to 87. Our three-point number wasn't bad at all, 15 to 43, and that's with Siakam and Nembhard hitting a good amount of threes. Siakam hit 5, Nembhard hit 4, and our free throw percentage, still something to work on, but we were 22 of 27 while the Raptors were 26 of 42 from free throws. Like, our free throw numbers were a lot better, but they had Jakob Poeltl go 6 for 14 from the free throw line, 1 of 4 from R.J. Barrett, and so they were just missing free throw after free throw. And our 3-point numbers, like I said, were really good compared to theirs. They were 7 of 30. But if we're going to talk about some numbers that we really need to talk about, it's the fact that they got to the line 42 times. They shot 42 free throws. We shot 27. We shot 43 threes. They shot 30. So we're playing way too much behind the three-point line. We had the same amount of field goal shots, but they made 48 and we made 37. They were dominating us from the paint. They were dominating us from the mid-range. They had more assists than we did. They had 11 more rebounds than we did. Same amount of blocks, but their points in the paint was 78 to 38, and their fast break was 33 to 18. So we can't get much done when those numbers aren't in our favor. And we really gotta just kind of step it up. Now, at the end of the day, if we end up not being a playoff team, it's not the end of the world. I do think there's some things that have to absolutely change. And today is one of those days where, well, Matherin is actually game time decision today, but still players like Furphy, Jackson, Nesmith, Jones, Toppin all remain out. But this game will be pivotal just to see what we can even do. But the Pistons have a few injuries. Now, Duran, Cunningham, and Thompson are all game time decision. Tobias Harris, Jane Ivey, Sasser are all out. And while it's basically injury versus injury right now, the Pistons have still been dominating with all those injuries. They're first in the East at 11-2. And they're playing the worst team in the league right now, which sadly is us. But I just kind of want to see if we can even, get something done in this game. I just want to see if we're able to take a team like the Pistons who have a few injuries and maybe we give them a loss. And we, get that second win of the season after the crazy losing streak that we are currently on of 7 games. Starting so it was just, 1-5, and started 0-5, 1-5, now 1-12. It's just how it's been going for us. But it's just the thing I really want to point out is how well the Pistons have been playing. Cade's 46-point game, Jalen Durant's 2020 game. All overall, the Pistons have been one of the most entertaining teams to watch this season, and it's going to be a tough matchup, especially if players like Cade, Durant, and Thompson all end up actually playing, which I genuinely think they will, just because, I mean, the Pacers could be sneaky. We could start winning games at any point. Now, with some of our defense out, it might not be the easiest, but maybe we get Matherin back today, and maybe some other players step up again. Jeremiah Robinson Earl's been kind of a, a dark horse in the starting lineup. We've been kind of messing around with either Bradley or Jackson in the starting lineup. And just overall, it's been kind of just one of those years where we're just trying so much stuff and we don't really know what's been going on. Now, I know some people are going to disagree with me on whether we should start trading some players, but genuinely, I think we should. There's some players that haven't fully lived up to what they need. Obviously, I'm not talking about just 13 games in. I'm talking about either some veterans or some younger guys that we took either pretty high in the draft and they haven't panned out, and it's just not getting better at the moment. But what would happen if we traded someone like Jarris Walker? Well, Jarris Walker has a little bit of trade value in this league. We can get a pick, we can get some decent assets out of it, or we can put in Jarris Walker as kind of like the lead in a big trade that we can make. But you know, if we were doing a lot better, then we could have made a trade for a player like Lauri Markkanen, or for a decent center like maybe a Vucevic. Obviously, Walker Kessler's out for the season. Maybe Nick Richards. But at the moment, I don't know how many players would actually want to come to Indy. Now we see it in the NFL how a player like Adonai Mitchell went from the Colts to the Jets, going from 8-2 to 2-8. That's just how quick life can change in sports. Now I don't see a lot of players going to sleep one day 11-2 and then waking up 1-12. So it just depends on how we kind of go about it and just who we go for. But as always, I'm your host, Hery Acosta. This is Pacers Daily. Boom, baby, and go Sirs.